as we started to see God move, people get healed on that Friday night, as it was all happening, I had this phrase repeated in my head of miracles are easy in Memphis.
Come on.
And it's something we said multiple times because I believe it's a declaration and a prophetic word that the Lord was making, that we talked about even in Ezekiel, that he says, can these dry bones live? And this crazy story of these dry bones in this valley rising up. And it felt this time of, it's time for us to prophesy to the dry bones in our life, to the dry bones in our city. And it feels a shift from this thing of things are hard and things are difficult and disappointment, or even a sense of bad things happen to me, that the Lord is wanting to make a shift of saying, no, I'm actually going to chase you down with mercy. I'm going to chase you down with my goodness. That the scripture that surely I will see the goodness of God in the land of the living. And I felt that word even, that we don't have to wait for heaven to see his goodness. That our job, if we're seated in heavenly places, is to bring heaven to earth right now. And so there felt a shift even in us as a people of saying, God, we want to move from the hard and the sense of surviving to life and life to the full in Jesus. And then how do we bring that in our families and our neighborhoods and our city?
Yeah, it really feels like divine timing for the city. And even just the theme of hope, you look around, even things in the natural, where you look at, FedEx as a hub here in the city, and you have Elon Musk choosing to bring his new AI company here in the town. And it feels like hope is on the horizon in the natural, but even more so in the spirit. God is up to something, and its people are beginning to take ownership, not just of their own personal lives, but beginning to take ownership, even the areas around them, and seeing Jesus come through their business, or Jesus come through the classroom, or through politics and through government, and really seeing that Memphis is ripe for harvest. And for so long, it's so easy to get caught up in past experience of what has been our normal, but it really feels like it's a new day and a new dawn for Memphis. And it feels like God is bringing all these pieces together just for this momentum to actually be released in the city. And just between the leaders of the different churches coming together, and now you have, a mayor that is on fire and loves the Lord, and many people within government actually loves the Lord and wants to see his kingdom come. And it just feels like it's time.
It's time.
It's Memphis's time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that even as we flew in, and we mentioned this several times during the Two Wings conference, but as we flew into Memphis, I had this unusual and overwhelming sense of potential.
Yeah.
The potential of a city, the heart of God for a city, and divine timing. And Steve and I have the privilege that we get to travel a lot and go to a lot of different places. And I don't think I have experienced this before. I said to Steve, this feels so special and unusual. It feels like the creativity of heaven, innovation. I was inspired during the conference by the ownership of people for their city.
Yeah.
That whenever we started talking about the city, there was almost like this rally cry of, this is our city and we're going to see it won for Jesus. That those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land, it says in Psalm 37. And it felt this sense of, we are hoping in Jesus because we're going to see a land shifted for the kingdom of heaven. And so that divine timing for this city, I told Steve, even in the night, I would wake up dreaming about Memphis, in an excited way of God is turning this city around. It feels like this turnaround moment. We even talked about the lights coming on.
Yeah. And
the thing with when light comes when light and darkness, they're not against each other. Darkness cannot do anything when light comes on. As soon as you switch a light on in your home, it's not that darkness is trying to get parts of it, it's just, it goes away. And that's what it feels like. The lights are coming on in a profound and new way in this city. And I feel so excited for Memphis. And I believe Memphis is going to be a sign and a wonder to many other cities and many other areas of what does it look like for a company of people to take ownership for their neighborhoods, ownership for their schools, ownership for their stores, and just say, I'm going to bring the kingdom in the area that I have influence. And I believe as that happens, something is going to shift and turn around.
Come on, I've always known Memphis as the city of the blues, right? Just Memphis has always been known as a sound to the outside world, but it even feels like the Lord is even shifting the sound that's coming out of Memphis. And not only is God in the business of beautifying his bride, but it feels like he's beautifying the city, and he's beautifying the sound that actually comes out of this place. It feels like God is actually in the business of innovating a completely different view of how people even perceive what Memphis is and what's even possible here. And honestly, it felt like vision was recasted on the people. And in scripture it says, without vision the people perish. And it's so important to come under heaven's vision if we actually want to see the kingdom come and see Jesus get his full reward.
Yeah, I felt like the Two Wings Conference was a place to catalyze unity. Just being in the conference, vision was so accessible and tangible, and it felt like God was giving people blueprints for what it actually looked like for them to walk in their calling and their destiny in this city. And so I feel really excited about next year and what the Lord is going to do as we focus on the Word and the Spirit together, and how those things just work beautifully in launching us into all God has for us. And so I'd encourage you to make it out next year, because I think it's going to be beautiful.
Bless you guys.